All right, we are. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Fairly busy news day. Not as busy as, say, the debates or things of the nature, but it's a fairly busy news day. One major event happening overseas that we absolutely have to discuss. But before we get into what is important going on overseas that may be a telltale in regards to what happens here in November, want to talk to you about President Biden having a prime time interview this evening with ABC News correspondent George Stephanopoulos. Now, George Stephanopoulos is the primary consultant on, or primary reporter on Good Morning America, and he also hosts one of the Sunday shows This Week with George Stephanopoulos. Nevertheless, this evening, he's going to be doing an interview with President Biden. Primetime interview. George Stephanopoulos interviewing President Biden. Obviously, many on the Trump side of the aisle, my beloved MAGA, are going to suggest that George Stephanopoulos is a left-leaning reporter. Therefore, it's not going to be anything but a softball interview. I'm not going to necessarily buy into that, but I will tell you, it is true that George Stephanopoulos was the spokesperson for Bill Clinton. So he certainly is a left-leaning American voter. We'll see what happens with his interview skills of President Biden. But nevertheless, Biden will be interviewed tonight in prime time by George Stephanopoulos, which leads to the question we're going to be asking. First topic is, can Biden repair his image, in your humble opinion? We've seen Biden during the presidential debate last Thursday, he lost for words is probably the best way to describe it, where he literally lost his train of thought and came back with something about Medicare that had nothing to do with the question being asked. He had a speech this weekend where he did the same thing, by the way. But what I want to ask you folks is, if he gets out there with George Stephanopoulos tonight, sounds dignified, sounds credible or logical, or you can tolerate his speech, do you believe Biden can restore his image? Or do you believe after Thursday, he's kind of toast in the eyes of folks viewing his cognitive capabilities? Do you believe it's over with for him? So we will talk about that. And also a secondary topic. This is taking place overseas, but it could have huge implications for here in America come November. The UK, the United Kingdom, has went left. They've gotten rid of their conservative prime minister, and a left-leaning, left-of-center prime minister has won by a quote-unquote landslide in the UK. Now, there's a few things we want to talk about. First of all, the United Kingdom was involved in Brexit. How many of you folks remember Brexit from 2016? They got out of the European Union, got out of the EU. This should sound familiar. So around the same time, Trump was talking about getting out of NATO. The UK actually did it. They got out of the European Union. And fact is, it is viewed as a dismal failure in the UK. But they did do what Trump was suggesting it to do. They voted left because their economy sucks right now. Fact is, a lot of economies worldwide are not doing good. And of course, if your economy is not doing good, you're going to blame who is in control, who is at the helm. So the UK is doing kind of what we were talking about doing, maybe in reverse. And we're pointing out that Brexit is also being cited for one of the reasons why their trade went awry. I mean, getting out the European Union has consequences. Just like if America was to leave NATO, there are consequences. Obviously, the UK thought they would be benefiting by getting out of the EU, just like some Americans believe that we would greatly benefit by getting out of NATO. Did not work that way. for the UK. Now, Trump is promising many of the things that the UK actually did and now are no longer happy with the results, such as isolationism and nationalism. Trump has stated he's a nationalist. It's all about America first, getting out of overseas conflicts, getting out of NATO, getting out of, I believe he talked about getting out of the UN. I mean, obviously the Paris Accord, he broke the Iran deal. So he was talking about, for the most part, isolationism, similar to what the UK did. And in the UK, they now view it as a dismal failure. So what I want to ask you folks also is, do you believe what happened in the UK could have any sort of mirror effect in America? Now, keep in mind, we're talking about the UK, but the nation of France went right. The nation of France went far right. Now, we're far closer in this country to England than we are France, but I do want to bring that up. So what do you guys think? You think Biden could restore his image? And do you believe what happened in the UK has any telling effects on what might happen here in November? You know, the program is always will remain MAGA friendly. That's how we've run it from day one. Always has been MAGA friendly, always will be. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So when you're in the, whether you're in the comment section or in the box, you don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the host. That's how the program is ran. It's all about free speech. So looking in the comments, nope, nothing done to us Americans, says the Yo-Yo. I don't quite get what you're saying. Biden needs to pass the baton, says Rain. I think there's a lot of Americans, a lot of liberals that would agree with you, Rain. So Ukrainians are doing what they will do with us when we go against the nation who wants against us. Yo-Yo, what do you mean? You said, so Ukrainians are doing what they will do with us when we go against the nation who wants against us. Rephrase that. I think I understand what you're saying, but clear that up a little bit. Trump Trade 2024 says JD. So you think a 15-minute edit interview will help Joe? Home of the Brave, in regards to it being an edit interview or not with George Stephanopoulos tonight, I'm not aware that the goal was to edit the interview. Now, I understand if you lean right, you're not going to give any media outlet any credibility at all that interviews Joe Biden. In fact, we know what was happening before the CNN debate with the presidents last week. The right was saying that wasn't going to be fair. In fact, now that you look back, CNN was incredibly fair to President Trump. You know why I say that? If CNN leans left, as many folks suggest they do, they clearly knew Biden was botching that whole debate. Yet they also knew Trump was being dishonest on a bunch of subjects. If they were as left-leaning as many suggest, seeing Biden literally drowning in his own speech, they would have started challenging Trump on a lot of the things he was saying that wasn't true. They didn't do that. They let Trump get away with all of that. So CNN was incredibly lenient to President Trump. Biden was going to lose that debate regardless. He sucked, period. But Trump certainly could have been challenged on a host of things he said. And if the network was so left-leaning, they would have done that. They really let Trump skate on a lot of stuff. Anyhow, looking in the comment section, Trump doesn't need to hold the baton ever. I don't buy that he doesn't endorse Project 2025. I don't think anybody on the left buys that. I think a lot of independents and I think a lot of right-leaning folks believe that he is in favor of 2025 as well. But unfortunately, right now, you can't come out and say that. Going straight to the comment section. Good afternoon, Rainy. Welcome to the program. I don't lost my damn pen. Let's see if the box works today, though. Rainy, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Good to have you back on. So can Biden restore his image?
Honestly, let me give you an answer. I don't care. If he's the guy, he's the guy. I don't care. When I voted for him the last time, I didn't vote for him. I voted against Trump. I'll do it again. That's kind of where I'm at this point, my friend. I'm going to keep it honest. Like, it was a hurtful. When I tell you it was hurtful, it wasn't maddening. It broke my heart to watch him on that debate. Really, it was just, honestly, it was mentally fucked me over for a minute.
Wow. But even though watching Biden, as you said, mentally fucked you over, you certainly will vote for him again.
Absolutely.
Wow.
If the choice is him or Biden or Trump, I have a country to save from the GOP. And just like you just said about what's happened in Europe, this is what I feel like this country, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. It's interesting you said it. I mentioned this on the program the other day. I had a person tell me that Biden could run out in the middle of Fifth Avenue wearing shitty diapers, crying out for his mother, and she would still vote for him over Trump. Is that your sentiment as well?
Absolutely. His head could be in a glass jar. Joe Biden could literally be a corpse in the casket, and I would still vote for him. I don't care. So Donald Trump is that much of a threat to my existence. Wow. So, yes.
Wow. And by the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 15,400 plus of you in here. Let your thumbs not be lazy. You know what you're saying, Rainey, is why I've been stating, and I think a few other talking heads and TikTok live stream creators have been saying as well, that even though Biden sucked during that debate, I don't think it's really going to matter that much because a lot of voters are like you.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, if the Republicans had to pick Nikki Haley, nobody would be sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, we got to roll with Biden. You know what I'm saying? But they picked a fucking felon. I'm sorry, you can't expect me to let the
Wait a minute. I don't know what the Supreme Court did. Trump may not be a felon anymore. What happened with Alvin Bragg, a lot of that stuff may get thrown out now.
Fine. He's an adjudicated essayer. The man is a crooked criminal. I mean, let's stop pretending like he wasn't criminal before he was president. He's always been a goddamn criminal.
Yeah, he said he's the way the Supreme Court is going, they may say what happened with E. Jean Carroll was in the course of his presidential duties knowing the Supreme Court. I mean, you just never know. But I got a view.
That's another thing. I know you got other folks, but that's another reason why I'm voting for Joe Biden. Because the judges are all jacked right now. We haven't paid attention on the left. The left is always philosophical. We have all these good wins, voting rights for black folks, civil rights and all that. We got the first black president, gay people can be married. We get so focused on silly on stuff like that. Meanwhile, the right is getting all the judges. What's all the judges doing? Taking people's freedoms and liberties away. So this is bigger than Joe Biden. This is why I say it's much bigger than him. Whoever's next elected gets to appoint more judges, and that's all I care about at this point.
So what about RFK? I guess somebody in the comments saying, well, you could vote for RFK if you think Biden is incapable of, really maintaining the train of thought. Why not RFK?
If I thought RFK had any glimpse of a chance of winning, that'd be one thing. But I will not waste my vote. I will not be like the fucking people on the left who did that in 2016, voted for Jill Stein, or gave Trump a chance. I will not do that. That's not what I would do.
To some degree, the Bernie Sanders supporters also, because without the Bernie bros, Hillary Clinton would have won.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I know you got a lot of folks wanting to talk to you, Tim. I love you. I hope y'all have a good day, okay?
All right. I want to tell you, Brian Pope on YouTube states this lady is what is ruining the country. Oh, she dropped that. I wanted Rainey to deal with that. RFK is nuts, says RJ. The main reason that these Republicans voted to save child marriage was because, I kid you not, I'm quoting, teens are ripe and fertile. What? Welcome to the GOP. That's coming from Jelly. It says the main reason that these Republicans voted to save child marriage, which why the hell would they vote to save child marriage? And that did happen, by the way. But Jelly says they voted to save child marriage because, I kid you not, I'm quoting, teens are ripe and fertile. Damn. Well, okay, I'll leave that to you folks. Looking in the comments, believe it or not, Trump is winning. The polls do say that Trump is winning. The polls say he's winning even in swing states. The polls say that Biden, after that debate, his poll numbers are dropping even in states that he normally would have won. That's what the polls say. However, and I bring up the polls all the time. I do use the polls to make explanations all the time. However, a lot of folks push back, rightfully so, with the polls saying that Hillary Clinton would win and the red wave of 2022. And the polls in regards to the red wave was incredibly favorable to the Republicans. You had folks using terms like red tsunami. Everybody, even including most liberal outlets, believed the red wave was going to happen. So sometimes the polls really, really get it wrong. But I do agree right now the polls show Trump doing rather well. They do show that. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. Same on YouTube. Appreciate you folks tuning in. Hopefully everybody had a decent 4th. By the way, under the Biden economy, groceries are unaffordable. Inflation rate supposedly up. Everybody's claiming they can't put gas in their car. Gotta assume no one heard any fireworks this Independence Day. I mean, after all, who's going to buy a non-essential item like a firework when they can barely feed their families? So I'm assuming no matter where you're at, you didn't hear many fireworks as of yesterday. We'll leave it to you folks. By the way, looking in the comments, how can a convicted felon be our president? Well, Mr. Or better yet, MJB or me JB, after what happened with the Supreme Court, my guess is Trump is not going to be a convicted felon by the time they're done. Or at the very least, he has 34 felonies. It's going to be shrunk down significantly. I personally believe, based on what the Supreme Court did, that whole case may be thrown out and they'll have to sift through the pieces to see what parts they can salvage. But Trump's record is going to get a lot cleaner due to how the Supreme Court ruled. I think that's really going to come out that way. Going back to the box, Stick the Ruler. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, folks. Tap the screen. CNN Joe has got to go. Stick, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, handsome. How you doing?
I'm doing real good. I'm asking a question. Can Biden restore his image?
I don't think Biden's image is messed up. I just think it's those few, and this is one thing that we need to make clear. How many people have came out against Biden in the sense of his own party?
A handful. A handful, like 3 or 4, not many.
Three or 4, but they're making it sound like the whole Democratic Party is wanting this man to bow out gracefully.
But Stick, let's be honest. You know, there's a hell of a lot of Democrats that want Biden to step down. Just like on the MAGA side, there's a lot of Republicans that have an adverse view of Trump, but they're hesitant or fearful to come out and say it. That's what's happening on the Democrat side now.
No, negative. Nobody,
really?
Nobody cares about really like how Biden feels on the Democrat side. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Nobody's sympathetic. We've been saying it from day one. We will tell you exactly what's going on and how we feel. If he's wrong, he's wrong. If he broke the laws, send him to jail. We've been saying this. And how old is Biden? And we're talking about if he did something wrong, send him to jail. So nobody cares. Just being honest. Nobody on the Democratic side cares. But the problem is, what the thing that we do care about is everybody's speaking in a sense for me or for us. 4 people or 4 Democrats that are in the House, or 2 in the House and 2 in the Senate, they don't speak for the whole party.
Yeah, I gotta.
But listen what I'm saying,
okay.
Handsome. But everybody's taking these 3 or 4 people and running with it. It's just like MAGA. That's what MAGA does. Trump says something and they run with it as if it's true, and it's not. Yeah. If I tell you right, I'm a hardcore Democrat, and I said I'm still voting for Trump, just like the lady that just got off said, don't matter if his head was in a jar, she's gonna vote for him. Don't matter if he was a corpse in the morgue, she's gonna vote for him.
That ain't. But hold on, hang on. Hold on. You're covering too much. Hold on. Even the people that say they'll vote for Biden if his head is in the damn jar, they are saying he needs to step down. They're just saying the choice. They're just saying Trump as a choice is so much worse that they'll vote for a corpse. But they don't want to vote for a corpse. That's the only choice.
Okay, so the thing of it is, it's still a difference when you say you don't want to vote for courts versus you still will vote for Trump over him. That's just a thing. Nobody's switching their votes.
I didn't say
Nobody's
that.
saying that
Nobody.
he
No,
needs to.
wait. Nobody's discussing. No, wait. Nobody's discussing about switching their votes. I'm saying the Democratic Party, as you're rightfully pointing out, only 3 or 4 of them have publicly said Biden needs to step down. What I'm saying is there's a hell of a lot more of them that believe it. They just don't want to break the unified message and come out and say it.
No, it's just not true. That's what I just said. We are the party of the truth. We are the party that's gonna tell you, man, I don't care what Biden did in the sense of if he went out and robbed an old lady, send his ass to jail. If he caught 3 or 4 34 felonies and he got charged with it, send his ass to jail. He's no different than anybody else, especially after he is not the president anymore. This is that party.
So you believe that you do believe that most Democrats, after seeing Biden at the debate on Thursday, most of them want him to run. They're saying it publicly, but you believe they actually feel that way in their heart.
They feel that way in their heart because, just like you said, they know it's either that or that, and they'd rather have Kamala because remember, she's just not just standing there. She's actually in power herself. She would become the next president. So we're not worried, my friend.
Okay, I hear you.
Honest, we're not.
I hear you, and I see David Moore on YouTube agrees with you. He says, Tim, you're wrong. By the way, Cinnamon Churro, you guys know I do read all super chats. Cinnamon Churro says, fuck Donald Trump. Okay, all right. But thank you for the super chat on Cinnamon. But so you really believe in their heart they want this guy to run, even though he can't even maintain his train of thought?
Well, he can maintain his train of thought. And I'm glad you just said that. It's hard to maintain your train of thought when you got somebody that just boils your oil so damn bad you want to grab him, right? You want to grab him and just shake him. You want to take him behind the gym. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Oh, okay. So this is actually who we're talking about. We're talking about that president that wasn't too old to say, you know what, I just want to take you behind the gym and just show you a few things or two. I just want to touch you, and not in the way that you like to touch these women. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I just disagree. I
mean, if you look at his facial expressions every time Trump says something, which was a lie, and you've covered that as well, it said that he told a tremendous.
He told a lot of lies. Yeah, Trump told a lot of lies.
Yeah, and it was all over President Biden's face that he was telling lies, and none of it made any sense. And then when it came time to go ahead and try to fact check it, he was trying to still say what he needed to say in the sense of stay focused on the debate. But at the end of the day, God damn, you're lying, homie.
Okay, here's why I vehemently disagree. You're saying that Biden slipped up, had a bad night because he was so pissed off with Trump lying. 2 things I'll bring up. First of all, Biden spoke on July 4th yesterday, and even during that speech, he lost his train of thought and had to use the word whatever. He started saying he was fighting in battles. He did it again. Trump wasn't even around, and he did it. So Biden is losing his train of thought. And then he had told the governors during the governors meeting that he needs more sleep, and he's going to start limiting the interviews and things like that till 8 p.m. at the latest.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So that ain't got nothing to do with Trump. The man is showing signs of aging.
And I get that. And again, if that's all you got, that he's old, again, I would say he has a vice president that is well endowed in the sense of she's young enough to be comprehensive. Number 2, he's going to transfer his power if he's found incompetent. So that's number 2. And then number 3, again, you got people that just.
Okay, hang on a second. I got to take this apparently. Hello? Yeah, speaking. Mm-hmm.